Welcome, welcome to this live clarity session, this live talk on how to get clarity. This is going to be an amazing conversation. It is something that I'm very sure that many people have been asking for. Many people have been requesting for this. Okay, many people have been requesting for this, and this is a phenomenal opportunity to explore clarity. Okay, so I look forward to having you. I look forward to learning and sharing with you. So we're just going to take some time to see how many people who will join us within the next few minutes, and then we kick off. Once we have about 10 people on stage, on stream, then we kick off. Okay. So basically, the objective of this meeting is to help anyone to gain clarity. Okay, whatever it is you're working on, maybe a project, you're working on a program, you're working on a business, you're planning your business or whatever it is that you're working on. This program, this particular session is geared towards giving you a good experience with finding clarity, discovering what you want to do, and how you're going to start. Okay, so once we have people who are here, then we're good to go. Once you join in, please do let me know that if you can hear me. Okay, so I'll give it some time. Let's give it some time. Let me know if you can hear me. Put comments down, drop comments, and yeah, probably like the video. Okay, I can see it now. So when you hit the like button, it shows me that people are here already. Okay, so I would appreciate that. Drop a comment and hit the like button. Let me know where you're watching this from. Let me know where you're viewing from. What country, what state, what location. You know, feel free to introduce yourself in the comments. Sell yourself in the comments. I'll be pulling some comments to the screen, so that people who see that and are probably interested in what you do can reach out to you for maybe collaboration or partnership or getting anything from you. But either ways, I believe it's going to be a win-win. Okay, so let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. In this session, we will be defining clarity. Okay, we will be defining clarity. We'll be figuring out what clarity really is and the need for clarity and how to gain clarity. Okay, so it's like what, why, and how. So I know you say I've started again with my camera thing. Okay, so let me turn this. So it's the what, why, and how of clarity. That's what's on my whiteboard. Okay, what is this clarity about? Why do we need clarity? And how do we get clarity? That's basically the summary of the entire conversation tonight. Many people go ahead and start up stuff out of fear. A lot of people start stuff and they get stuck, right? You may be there at that point of your life where you basically feel stuck. You basically feel stuck. Um, you're working on a project and you don't know what next to do. You're working on your business and you don't know what next to do. How can I get more customers? How can I get more, profit in my business? What do I add to this? Or you are done with your university education, your degree, and you're wondering, at this point of my life, what do I really want to do in my life? A time has to come in your frame of existence that you ask that question, what do I really want to do in my life? Okay. So like I was saying, I would appreciate this session is very dear to my heart. Very, very, very dear to my heart. The only way, I mean, the most important way to pay me back is to just share this session with somebody, right? Just share with somebody, share it on Facebook, wherever you're watching this from, right? Just hit the share button, share it with somebody, encourage them to be here because so many questions are going to be answered. And interestingly, I don't know how long this particular video is going to be online. I don't know how long it's going to be available. But I would have to I would have to probably take it down. I'm not going to take down any of the other videos, right? I'm not going to take down. I'm not going. How do I put it this time? So I don't promise something I don't end up doing. But like I don't look forward to taking down other videos, but this particular one, yeah, I have to for some reasons. Um. So yeah, I'll be saying a lot here, and like I was saying, some people start stuff and they feel stuck, right? Or you want to transition, you want to pivot in your career, and you don't know exactly where to start. You don't know exactly which one to pivot to. You know, it can be daunting, right? It can be really challenging when you don't know where exactly to start. So it is part of my responsibility tonight to help you figure out where you should actually start. It's part of my responsibilities tonight. That's my primary responsibility tonight to help you to figure out where you can start. Okay. So, like I was saying, it's important to understand these terminologies, right? To understand what we are even talking about, understand the meaning of clarity. Okay. Break the biases and the myths, destroy the myths in the way of your ascension, in the way of your gaining clarity. There are so many stereotypes, so many biases, so many constructs that are preventing you from actually gaining clarity. Okay, so you must have heard some of them, and I'll be busting them tonight. I'll be busting them one after the other. Now, the year has, I mean, 2025 has come and gone. We are now in 2026. And I know a lot of people have a lot of plans that were either achieved or not achieved, whatever the case may be. And then you've written something new again this year. And, somehow in your heart, you're asking yourself, am I sure that what happened last year will not happen again this time around? Right? And I want to reassure you that time is a continuum. Okay, there's nothing magical that happens every 31st. There's nothing magical that happens that means, you know that if you don't do something by the first of the month, by the first month of the year, that you're not going to get it right all through. No, there's also nothing magical that happens on 31st night. Okay, so it's just for us to be aware and build with intentionality, build with strategy. Okay, build with clarity. So like I was saying, what is this clarity? What is this what is this clarity? Okay, now what i would what I would define clarity as is knowing. I'm trying to fix up something here, so that's why my eyes are going there. So clarity is basically knowing what you want to do, why you want to do it, and how you're going to get it started and continue. Okay, so you are looking at what you want to do, understanding the what, the why, and the how. Okay, what you want to do part time, what you want to do part time, why you want to do it, what decision do you want to take, what business you want to start, what career do you want to launch, what skill do you want to learn, what is it that you're looking to, even when it comes to selecting a partner, choosing a partner for a relationship. Clarity can take multiple forms. You need clarity for everything that you're doing in life, right? So knowing clarity is from the word clear. Okay, so you knowing clearly what you want to do part time, that is what clarity is about. Okay, I'm trying to get my screen to um okay. So yes, that is what clarity is about. I hope you can see me. I hope you can still see me and you can see my whiteboard. Okay, so yes, I hope you can see me and you can see my whiteboard. S- So like I was saying, you want to be able to understand what this is, okay? And when you have understood what it is, we're talking about being clear about what you want to do, knowing what you want to do, right? Understanding what you want to do from a point where you are not confused, you are not biased, okay? You are not estranged to that activity, to that business, whatever you're trying to do. Now, like I was saying, there are different things that you must have heard about clarity, different things that you must have heard about gaining clarity. And that is the myths. It's one of the things that I want to bust tonight. The myths surrounding this whole concept, right? The the teachings going on that you must have heard about clarity. So some people will say, oh, if you don't, if you don't get it a certain way, it means that you have not started or you are not doing the right thing. If you don't figure out the one thing that you were sent to this earth to do, you have not gained clarity. So, before you gain clarity, you have to find one thing. You have to have a vision perfectly written. You need to find one thing that you need to do with your life. Um, you know, a lot of things like that. And people tell people, have you discovered your purpose? That's one of the questions that scare many people. Meanwhile, that question is meant to be very easy to answer. Have you discovered your life purpose? Why? They are expecting you to have a single frame answer to say, oh, yes, my purpose is to help young women in so so and so achieve this and that. But that's not meant to be the case. That's not all there is to the purpose equation. That's not all there is. So when you want to narrow down purpose to your ability to define a single expression, your ability to do only one thing and one thing only, you are limiting yourself already. And that's not the idea. So, what is clarity? Knowing what you want to do, why you want to do it, and how you can start it and sustain it. Okay? And why clarity? I already mentioned something, and I would like to add to it. Without clarity, you will live your life in frustration. So this person comes and mentions there's this skill that is paying. This skill is it's the trending thing right now. This is the in thing, right? And that is public speaking. And you rush to go and learn public speaking. By the time you are done, they tell you no, it's no longer public speaking. It's drop shipping and copywriting. Copywriting is a high income skill, right? And which other one? Amazon KDP, Amazon Kindle Publishing, whatever. and then you rush into that one and they say, no, 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 no. The in thing is affiliate marketing. You need to be an affiliate marketer. If you're not an affiliate marketer, you are joking, right? So you now find that a lot of people are running from pillar to post, running helter skelter without direction. And this is what I tell people: without clarity, you become a scalar quantity. You will run so fast in the wrong direction. You'll be running really fast sometimes, but at the end of the day, you realize that, oh, you were meant to be running towards Abuja, but you found yourself at Lagos. No pun intended. Okay. It may not be a bad place, but that was not where you wanted to go. Why? Because you didn't have clarity. Discovering clarity is like having your own life's roadmap. If you use Google Map, for example, to trace your way to a particular location, the act of what you are doing, all the navigation you are doing, is clarity. And remember, when you're using Google Map, you can be going to a particular direction, right? You can be going to a particular direction using the Google Map. So let's say this is where you are going. I'll wipe this off later. Let's say this is where you are going, right? And this is where you are, okay? And then there are parts from here, there are parts that either move like this, okay? So let's say this is a crossroad, right? This is an expressway, right? There are parts that go like this. There are parts that go like this, and then this and this. There are parts that go like this, huh? And like this and to this. So it's still the same location. And you will find out that sometimes when you get to this part, and maybe there's a roadblock here, this place will still find a way to redirect you to this place. The map will still find a way to redirect you. So now that's I'm trying to explain to you. I'm trying to use this narrative to explain to you how clarity works. And it is not always a straight line graph, or it's not always a straight path, as some people may say. You know, clarity is not always one thing. If there's only one way to a particular location, that means if you miss that one way, you are doomed forever, right? If you miss the one way, you are doomed. You just continue on the path because you've missed it. But then sometimes that's not what happens. You can always retrace your path. You can always follow an alternative path to get to your location. That's clarity for you. So I said, without clarity, you will be a scalar quantity. That is, you can have momentum, you can have power, you can have force, but the force will be exerted without direction. A directionless force wastes your time, wastes your energy, wastes your resources. So this is one of the reasons a lot of people don't really they don't really do much, right? Because over time, for many years, you've been doing the same cycle of activities without clarity. So by the time you get so far, you realize that, no, this is not the right direction. This is not yielding fruit. Now, we're going to be talking about some of the myths, right? I've already explained one. The fact that some people think that for you to gain clarity, you need to do one thing. You know, if it's not one thing, it's not clarity. But they say, purpose, discover your purpose, and they're looking for one thing. They're looking for one unique single item vision, right? That's also a myth. Some people think that they are going to sit down and one day they will get clarity before they take action. They are still waiting and hoping and praying for clarity, right? Meanwhile, there are some things that if you understand, your clarity journey begins immediately. And let me remind you, clarity is not a destination. It's not a one-time destination. Clarity in itself is a journey. And you may never ever have it completely figured out if you don't start, right? It means that you have to be able to pick up the traces. You have to be able to pick up what you are, what you are doing, and get feedback while on it. You have to be able to repeat certain things and get feedback while doing those things. That's one of the ways you get clarity. So sometimes what destroys dreams is that people wait too long to manifest because they are waiting for clarity. Because they are waiting for clarity. So now, there are two concepts I'll introduce you to, and then we'll talk about different models. There are many models here, and I don't want to bore you with a lot of theory. Let's get right into the stuff, right? Let's get right into the stuff. So you can, let me turn this so that you can see my white. Yes, let's get right into the stuff. We've discussed what clarity is, what it is not, the myths, some of the myths. There are a lot of other myths, right? And I'm going to send them. I'm going to share a document. I will show you a whole lot of things that you need to know. Um, I'll share it on the group, okay, in the community. So, okay, I think this is better. So, like I was saying, there are two basic concepts that are available to us. These are concepts that are preached by many people. By many people. Two basic concepts. Number one, career ladder. No, this is the one that is preached by many, the career ladder. So when you believe that you have to go to school, when you're done, get a job, do a master's or a PhD, climb to the zenith of your career. So there's an illusion of a zenith, right? There's an illusion that if you stick to the path long enough and do all the degrees, do all the programs, get all the certifications, you will eventually get here, right? But the truth of the matter is, many people die before they get here. Many people die off, maybe at this stage, maybe here. They die unfulfilled and unsatisfied, unhappy that they were not able to experience options. So it may not be something that you want for yourself. May not. Some people feel that that is okay for them. For some people, that is actually what they want from life. And it's okay for them. They are cool with it, right? But for some people, a time comes in your life when you sit down and ask yourself, is this really what I want to do? I'm not experiencing life. I'm not enjoying life. I'm just climbing a ladder to go and meet a goal that I don't know who sent me to actually meet. So you don't believe that, some people don't believe that they can actually explore. I don't know if you've been to, play parks, Millennium Park, any park, pleasure park, whatever. You see something that looks like this, a structure that looks like this. Children enjoy this. You see children climb and they are just excited to move from one side to the other, to climb from one side to another, go from top to down to sideways, make mistakes, correct themselves. This is too predictable. This is too predictable. Okay, so you know that when you're leaving a rung of the ladder, you're going to step on the next one. So you can predict your move. But for this, you can't just find yourself here, and the next time you follow this path, and then you find yourself here. And your brain is stimulated, you are excited that you're enjoying the activity. That's one of the ways, one of the parts of building a career. So it means that this place is maybe a physics student, physics graduate, physics lecturer, lecturer 1, lecturer 2, senior lecturer, reader, associate professor, professor, and in probably before you get here, it's over. Or you just stay around here for a while. This pinnacle is actually where people begin to hear your name across the world. How many people get there? Now, this jungle gym is the medical doctor who decided to become a public speaker and also dances on TikTok and does consulting for brands, right? And somehow he's able to combine his skills in different ways and monetize and have fun doing them. Okay, this guy is the cryptocurrency enthusiast who is also a chef, a baker, a patriot of some sort, a girl child advocate, expressing different forms of his originality in different creative dimensions and possibly even monetizing them. So for some people, they derive so much satisfaction and joy by existing here. For some people, they derive so much safety and security by existing here. And this is where majority of people exist, because not because it is their human design, not because it is their life design, but because I hope. Oh, thank God. Okay, I thought my mic was I thought my mic was probably locked. Oh, so like I was saying, but because that is what society preaches, that is what they've seen over time, that is what they have been used to, right? So they don't explore, they don't experiment, they don't basically do anything else. Okay, so you just follow a straight line path. These are two models that describe career exploration. There are also models that you can use to find clarity. So I put them in the bulk of all of this, and I will explain all of them one by one before we start breaking things down. One thing you have to understand is that for you to gain clarity, you must be able to give yourself some grace, give yourself some time to explore, give yourself some time to think. Okay, you must give yourself some time to think, to explore, to play around the skills that you possess, to meet new people, to understand new things, new systems, new designs, and find out what works for you. Now, that is this. What are these things here? These are different models for gaining clarity. There's no perfect model. Anybody who comes and tells you, oh, the best way to gain clarity, or the best way to actually start a business, or the best way to actually do something that makes sense or build a brand is to start with one thing. Do it for a while until you have mastered it, and then you diversify. That's a lie. It's not the best way, right? Another person comes in and says, no, the best way to start anything or do anything that will succeed is to start with, different things. No, I mean, yes, start with many things. So start doing many things, and they call it multiple streams of income. Do this one, do that one, do this, do that, do that. Anything you see your hand, I'm a multi-purpose business person. Anything I put my hand, boom, anything, any business that is moving, I do, and you end up scattering your energy so much, and it wears you down, it breaks you down, leaves you with little or no results. So the two extremes are not perfect models. They can work for different people, does not mean that it will work for you. You have to be able to sit down with yourself and draft out what will work for you part time. What works for you in 2025, what worked for you in 2025 may not work in 2026. The world is evolving. By 2020, there was a major shift because of the pandemic and the sit at home, the the lockdown, there was a major shift that opened the eyes of people to stuff, things, learning, health, consulting, everything. So at that time, there was a boom in the knowledge industry. So you could easily create a WhatsApp group and say, oh, people come and learn from me. I'm creating something, pay this amount to join, and they will join and they pay. But after a while, the market got saturated. Some people still got stuck in, I'm creating something, pay and join, and they're, stressing themselves up and down and wondering why things are not working. Why? Because the world is a continuum. It will not keep respecting and honoring what you already know. You need to keep evolving. You need to keep changing. You need to keep studying yourself in light with the market. I hope this is making sense. I hope this is making sense. Okay? So that is it. That is it. There's no perfect model. Nobody has a perfect model. Somebody come and say, oh, but Tony Elumelu did this, but Dangote did. Who said so? Were you there with them? No. Some people even have been to events where people who were the speakers, the instructors will come and speak. And while they are speaking, I notice that they are tilting towards pick a niche, master it, diversify. And then in the middle of their story, they begin to tell us how they started frying akara in school and doing painting and doing this and meeting people to do that and all of that. And they were only getting little results. But then they focused on one. And after a while, they succeeded. Now, are you not, like, think about it. If you did not fry akara and meet people and do design and do painting, how will you now know the one that you actually want to do? How will you know the one that is profitable? How will you know the one that is fit for you? You may not. Right? You may not. So why are you discouraging other people and telling them, oh, this is, 2026, the first thing you have to do? Some people are newbies in the space, and you're telling a newbie to pick a niche. Just pick a high income skill and do it. Now, I have people who have picked high income skills, so to say. They paid after all the pressure, after all the, all the graga in the internet. Affiliate marketers will come and say, oh, it's affiliate marketing. Network marketers will come and say, oh, join our platform. It's the biggest in town. You are becoming a millionaire in this. And then at the end of the day, you're tired. You're exhausted. You're exhausted. Good evening. Welcome. You're exhausted. You're tired. You pay a lot of money to join because they promise you that their own formula is the perfect one. And when you join, your eyes will just open immediately. No, it will first blur. And then it will open. And you start seeing clearly. You start seeing clearly. You start understanding your bad decisions. Why? You didn't have clarity. You didn't have clarity. Remember, without clarity, you can only run so fast in the wrong direction. Okay? So, yes, if you're joining in, if you're watching as a replay, welcome, enjoy. If you're joining in live, welcome as well. Do drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Your country, your profession, whatever you want to add. Introduce yourself in the comments. I would really love to see who is watching. Okay, so right here you have, this is the divergence. Okay, divergence. What does it mean? You start from a point, right, and you diverge. You slowly open up until when it seems like you don't even have any limit, right? Now, the advantage this has is you're able to start with a more focused identity. At this point, you're able to start with a focused identity, right? And you can create a niche market. Now, this is not necessarily, you see, you have expansion in mind. That is why you opened up here. Because you have expansion in mind. It is not necessarily about picking a niche per se. It's about niching up, niching upwards, creating a platform, a program, a product with the mind that you can continually edit it to include other people. You have inclusion in mind. You have expansion mentality. So at the point when I started my brand, I used to write in the definition, a platform committed to transforming young minds, young minds. Then I started noticing that it wasn't just young minds that were joining my platform. I had older people. I had people in their 50s, in their 60s listening to me, people in their 70s listening to me. I'm like, nah, I can't keep saying it's young people. I removed people, I removed the young. So it became transforming transforming minds, right? Why? I had expansion in mind. I'm not saying it's bad to start with a niche market or to do a niche market, but sometimes you just need to be open to exploration. So this is what it does. You start with a narrow market and then you diverge. You start spreading and spreading with the market in mind, right? This is where you started, and then you can now start expanding your skill sets. Okay, now if I decide to remove this, if I decide to remove this line here, it can mean that I have no I have no closed agenda, right? That I want to create a market for all. If this is my intention, I can leave this place open to infinity, right? So it's not a finite market. Take example from what Oraimo is doing. This is Oraimo's strategy. They started with a niche market to penetrate the industry. They started with, something, electronic gadgets, to penetrate the market and study the market. By the time they knew that, man, people want everything. People don't have just one problem. Oraimo quickly accelerated this. Oraimo sells basically everything you can think of now. One day they'll be selling soap. I think recently, was it food that I saw on Oraimo? I was impressed. Jumia started like that as well. There we tech. Next thing I was seeing, I think I saw a goat on Jumia sometime. So if people want more, why not give them more? Why not? If it's going to bring more profit to your business, more profit to your brand, more profit to your career, and solve more problems for the people who need you, why not? If you're the kind of person that can handle multiple industries, why not? Multiple skills and interests, why not? At a point, people were coming to me, and the truth of the matter is, at this point, if you are able to establish trust, right? If you're able to establish trust at this point, people will basically be running towards you for anything that you offer. They will be the ones to keep suggesting. So that's what you are doing. You are studying, you are doing surveys, passing questionnaires. They will be the ones to keep suggesting what they want to learn from you, what they want to get from you, what they need from you. The next one is convergence. So you can literally start from a lot of things, right? And you now have a target audience in mind, right? And you are narrowing down to fit the scope of that target audience. I keep thinking that my camera is here, not here. So I keep looking to this side, not knowing it's here. So I'll try to stick with this part. So now, this convergence. So you have a lot of options here. A lot of things that you want to do at this point, right? You want to, help educators. There are many different people here. You want to help mothers. You want to help children. You want to do all of those things. And then by the time you start from here, you gradually narrow down until this may be at your older age. It may be at a season when you've made more profits and you want to consolidate. And at this point, you already have products and services that no longer demand so much of your time, which is what I would advise everyone to do. The moment you enter the aura, the season for a particular industry, Keep creating products. So the moment you are out of the industry, you have stuff that people need, that when they come, you can redirect them. It no longer demands your time, but it will bring you more profit. Whatever you're doing right now, you may lose the fervor. I'm not talking about favor, I mean fervency. You may lose the zeal that you're using to do it right now. Whatever it is you are doing, whether you are teaching people personal branding, teaching people AI, teaching people whatever, the moment a season of your life comes, another thing opens up. You may be thinking that you are called to teenagers. Wait until you get married. By the time you spend 1 week with your partner, with your husband, in one house, under one roof, you automatically realize that you are called also for women, that you are called to build a ministry for women, you are called to save young marriages from perishing by default. So now imagine that you've gone to register a business, Chichi Cakes. Chichi Cakes. You're not using Chichi Cakes to do relationship counseling. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, nobody's going to take you serious, right? But if you started in it on time, and you know that this is the kind of brand you want to build, and you have capacity for more, you have interest in more, then you can leave it open like this. It would also affect what you choose as a business name. Let's go to the next one. This is the convergence method, where you start with a lot of things and then you converge, you narrow down till you figure out what is at your core that you want to do for a longer time, right? For example, you're a baker, you're a chef, you're a public speaker and all of that. And you are narrowing, you are going down and down and down, and it gets to a point. At this point, you are doing skill, right? Maybe you have a lot of skills here and you are offering these skills as knowledge, or you are offering this as service at this point. So you bake, you write, you do this, you cook, all of that. You are selling them as service and product, right? Product and service. And you get to a point where you realize that you don't want to do product and service for this again, and you turn it into knowledge, right? You turn it into knowledge base, that people can come and they buy your book on how to bake, your baking guide, your cooking guide, your cookbook, whatever. At this point, then it comes again to a point you are like, I've done way more, I've made profit, I've made money, I want to go into another aspect, another expression of me. So at this point, I don't want to teach people, I don't want to just keep teaching people how to cook, how to do this. I don't want to keep doing the cooking thing. I want to position as a consultant, right? At this point, you are not hustling. For you to say you want to pick one thing and do that one thing, it's no longer at the point of hustling, because you can do that and close your options and it will hurt your brand. Look at Hilda Bassi, for example. Hilda can decide not to ever cook for people again. This is where she is, and it's strategic. She is in between this point and this point. The next thing she is getting into, most likely, would be classic consulting and mentoring. So she's in the knowledge space, combining it with this, right? When she started, she was most likely just hovering around here, getting feedback. And then she's going, into this, and it is strategic. Maybe when she started, she was baking puff puff, making soda, making parfait, and all of that. And then people kept commending and commending, and oh, your food is nice, your food is nice. And she kept, getting valuable feedback until she got to this point, the world record holder and all of that. Amazing. A lot of people don't. Ah, okay. So you can still see me. So you can still see me. It's one of those things, hardly we hardly have this power cuts, but yeah. So yes, you can still see me. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is to let me get my power bank. So give me a second. Give me a second. So like I was saying, that that stuff that just happened. Very unusual something, very unusual. So like I was saying, because I know that we have a lot of people from different places here. So yes, back to this, right? So you can decide what you want to do with your brand, what you want to do with all the skills that you are learning at this point, you know, and feel free. Don't let anybody guilt trip you for the season of your life that you are at. You may be at the season where you're jumping around from one thing to another. That does not mean that you have not gained clarity. That does not mean that you will not gain clarity. It may be a part of your own your own unique life design, so that you can find what you were sent, called, built to do. And remember, you can be multi-talented and still have clarity. I am a multi-talented professional. I am a multi-proficient, multi-passionate, multi-potential being. And I do not just exist. I believe so much in multi-dimensional excellence. So you can do many things and still do those many things excellently. So don't let anybody guilt trip you because you have not figured out that only one thing. No. There's way more to you. There's way more in you. I don't even believe that God created anybody to just come and do one thing. We'll get to that. Now, the next one is the hourglass. This hourglass is interesting. So this is what happens in the hourglass, similar to this. So you start with a wide range of activities and services and interests, right? And then you are narrowing down to a niche market. So now you start with, let's say, cooking, singing, medical doctor, medical professional, right? And you are trying to figure out what do you need to do. And at the end of the day, you've come so far to this point, just like this. And then you've gotten to this point and you understand your market at this point, and you are now asking again, for me to expand my scope, what does this market need? This my newfound market. So someone who used to be a cook, a singer, and a medical doctor comes to this point and decides that, you know what, this has not been profitable for me. Okay, maybe not. Okay, yeah, my cooking. Or let me remove cooking because I've already talked about it. So it says, let's remove cooking. Being a medical doctor and all of the things around there are not really so profitable for me. So what do I build and invest my energy in? And she says, singing, right? And music takes this point. You have gotten all the way here, and then you now realize, oh, music, what genre of music? What kind of audience am I serving? Who needs my music, and what do they need? And you now realize, oh, beyond music, they came to you for a reason. They came to you because of your voice, and it's, your voice, they want to hear you speak and sing. So we are looking at spoken word poetry. Spoken word poetry. You are looking at composing. You are looking at musical instruments, right? Like violin or whatever. They are looking at all of those things. So you may want to now build a brand around this and insert all of that. So now your brand may be basically about music, but this time around it is dynamic in that industry. Is it making sense? Is this whole thing making sense? I know that as I'm saying this thing now, some people are already getting clarity. Some of you are already like, oh yeah, okay, I see. This is what has been happening to me, and that. Coaches don't understand me. People tell me this a lot, that their coaches don't understand them. And I understand. I know. Because a lot of people are not so open-minded to consider all of this, to consider that not everybody is wired the same. It's a principle of individuality. We all didn't come to this world the same way. We have different experiences, different things that shape our experiences and our opinions and choices. So we have to be able to respect that. So this is the hourglass, right? Remember, divergence, convergence, and hourglass. So in hourglass, you first of all have a convergence, then you have a divergence, which can continue. It can continue till infinity. It means that you can get to this point. Immediately you get to this point, you realize that, oh, there's another market. So you've done the music to a point and you ditch music entirely and say, people have been following me for my music, but I realize that they love my spoken word the most. And you pick spoken word, and then you now expand again. What type of spoken word? What branch of spoken word? There are people who use spoken word for politics, who use spoken word for, for inspiration, motivation, and stuff like that. There are people who use spoken word to cause trouble. So that's it. Now, this is what you have. Okay? Now, this is another concept. It's called Ikigai. But before I talk about this Ikigai, it's going to be the last one I'll talk about, because I want to talk about Ikigai alongside my own model, right? And this is the diamonds. This one is the diamonds. I'll talk about this. So the diamond is similar to this, right? But this is the flip, the reverse of the hourglass. So what happens in the diamonds? You start with a narrow scope, and then you begin to diverge. You diverge to a point. You realize that you have figured out some things, right? And you need to slowly converge. That's a diamond. So you start with, let's say, public speaking, a very narrow scope, right? And you leave the place open. Say public speaking, teaching, coaching, physiotherapy, right? And then as you go, you are opening up everything, you are seeing everything, you are seeing multi-potentialites usually enjoy this kind of structure. You are seeing everything, and you get to this point. You are now moving in, you are moving in between two realms, and you are deciding. At this point, you've seen it all. You've seen profit, you've seen people, you know what you want, you know what you need, you know what works for you. And then you decide to slowly taper down. Okay? So you have defined every audience by this level. You have tasted everything, and you are even tired. So you're like, yeah, I want to do public speaking for corporate professionals, for this group of people, for that group of people. You are now redefining everything that started here, and you are coming down here. At this point, you can decide, oh, I'm positioning as a life coach. I'm positioning as an optimal performance coach, because it is an identity that helps me to represent most of these things in a way that I am serving a niche market, but with dynamic experience gathered from all of this. I hope that makes sense. At this point, you maybe you now have communities for women, communities for training, community for, executive class, whatever. And there are few at this time. Okay? And then it can get to a point again where you decide that you will pick another narrow area and start taking it open again, right? So at this point, you've explored all of this, and you decide this time around, I think I've exhausted a lot of time. I've done the courses and programs. They are there. I've inspired a lot of people, but something deep down in my heart wants me to focus on women's health. At this time, everything that has happened from here to here, they now exist as online courses, as ebooks, as guides, as digital products and physical products. So when people come to you, you can redirect them to this. But right now, I want to focus on women's health. And in the women's health, These are the areas: antenatal care, postpartum care, menopause, end of life care, things like that, right? And by the time you get to this point again, you can decide, oh, you've seen all of this. Now let me synergize and narrow down again. And by the time I'm getting to this point, maybe I will decide one particular thing that I want to do. So you see, it's not set on stone. Once you begin to see this with an open mind, you are you're a free man. You can sit down, look at all the things going on in your life, and you're like, oh wow, okay, okay, maybe, oh yes, this, okay, I'm not actually under pressure to pick one. I can think and figure out what exactly I need to do per time. It makes it easier, super easy. Now look at this guy. This is another model that a lot of people use, and that is, I call this the boring laser, right? You get a laser and you point the laser. When they were playing the World Cup matches, some countries were using laser to disturb other countries during penalties, right? So you get a laser and you point it, it goes in a straight line, travels in that straight line. Well, light does not necessarily travel in a straight line, but the beam of the light follows a straight course. So like that kind of thing, that's the way some people reason, like this. They just go, psh, right? So they start with something, and this is similar to this. You see, it's the same structure. They start here and then they end here. So you see that woman who makes food by the roadside, that woman who makes food by your street, and 10 years ago, 10 years ago, she was making the same food, the same kind, same quality. Today, it's still the same food, the same quality, the same everything. She's still running the shop, or she's selling bread, whatever. No change, no dynamism, nothing. No innovation, no transition, nothing. These are straight line thinkers. I call them boring. These are boring. Sometimes you can make a lot of profit doing this. You see, that's the funny thing. You can do any of this, you can choose any of this, and you still make a lot of profit. What matters is your strategy, your market, your individuality. Let me tell you one secret. There are the kind of privileges and leverages you have. Okay, there are certain privileges and leverages that you would have, and it would not even matter what your strategy is. Some people who have rich parents, all they need is for their parents to take them out, take them to a certain location, okay, and tell the people there, oh, this is my son, and this is what he's doing. And all of a sudden, the person gets a 30 million naira contract or a $1 million contract and all of that. And you are racking your head, you are stressing your brain over this strategy and strategy and strategy. Some of these people have no strategy. Their strategy is that my father is this person. Let's go and drink. I've seen people, I've seen people give their brothers contracts of millions. One was telling me he was given a contract of many millions of naira, many, I think up to hundreds of millions of naira in agriculture. And I asked him, do you have any training in agriculture? He said, me? No, I did not go to school. You don't go to school. You didn't go to school. But you're getting contracts. His brother is in the government. His brother is in the whatever. I don't even remember the person. I'm saying this to exonerate myself. I don't remember the person. It's just the reality. I can't remember who the person is. Yes, I met the person somewhere. So nobody should ask me any question. It's funny how these things happen, right? So it's not necessarily about how well you are able to figure your niche. Some people are making you feel guilty for something they got by monopoly. Somebody will tell you, oh, this business, that I did this, I did that. Don't listen to everybody's story. Some people got grants. They won't tell you that part of the story, that they got grants to start up. They'll tell you it's because they picked a niche. They won't tell you they got a grant from the government or they got a grant from somewhere to build a system and run the entire system on grant money. They won't tell you. and you go and jump into the same thing under pressure and hurt yourself and damage your brand. So these guys, the boring laser, they start one thing and they just drive it through. They don't change, no innovation, anything, right? There's this guy, it's the reverse why. I don't know what to call this. I don't know what to call this guy. I don't know what to call this guy. But like, let's say he has a head. Yeah, a shovel facing down, and this is a shovel facing up, right? So now this is the reverse Y, or this is the Y, this one. Now this is starting with a single thing and taking that single thing for a long time, then eventually diversifying a little bit later. So you see, this is very common. This is very common among, people who have trusted the system for a long time and their eyes finally open. So maybe a university lecturer for many years, and then they finally realize, oh, I'm about to end my career, or I've retired. So let me find something else. Let me diversify into coaching and mentoring. So they open up a bit, okay? But they've already been bored. They've bored out their entire life cycle. And then they have small time to diversify, right? And then there's some other people who try out different things, that are kind of closer in scope, and then they decide to narrow down and then continue in that straight line if it is successful, right? If they're actually earning a lot of money. One of the things that helps people decide to figure out, or to follow a path, is the amount of reward that brings them. Depending on what you value the most. Some people value passion, some people value purpose, some people value profits the most. So there are some people that they may be trying different things, trying, cybersecurity, coaching and mentoring, public speaking, data analysis. And the moment they discover that data analysis pays the bills, pays everything, pays their future, gets them the scholarship, gets them everything, they just narrow down on this. There's no need. The money is coming in, it's bringing the passion and everything in between. So they just narrow down and they continue that straight line, which is absolutely okay, right? There's none that is evil. They're all good ways to discover clarity, to gain clarity. You have to figure out what works for you. Now, where this comes in, the next one, the concept ikigai, right? This concept ikigai is basically looking at how to figure out what is at your core. It's similar to my own concept. This figures out what is at your core. What do you want to do at your core? How do you merge different things and find out how they intersect? So this is a Venn diagram. So let's say this circle here is passion. I cannot remember the exact ikigai concept. I'm not interested in trying to replicate the ikigai concept, but it's just to let you know how this works. So let's say this is for passion, right? And this is profit, right? And this is let's say purpose, right? So the concept ikigai is saying that an intersection of passion and profit. This is an intersection of passion and profit. This here would be called, let me see if I can remember. You can go and check this out. It's a very nice concept. The concept ikigai. This is the Japanese concept for the meaning of life. That's what it means. The meaning of life is Japanese philosophy for finding purpose, right? So they are trying to find what is at this epicenter. This is your ikigai. This is your life purpose. This is your reason for living. That's what they are trying to find out. So an intersection between passion and profit may be, let's say, vocation. Okay? I hope I remember. An intersection between purpose and profit, I think is it profession I you can validate this, right? Check it out later. Then between passion and purpose, one other thing, right? One other thing I don't remember. Now, the goal of Ikigai, the goal of the concept Ikigai is to figure out the combination of this, and this, and how they meet at the center. So now, when you are able to determine what it is you want to do that cuts across all of this, now you can tell yourself, this cuts across my passion, cuts across profit, cuts across, purpose. You can find what is at the center. Something that duly represents every of these sectors, right? That's the concept Ikigai. Now, before I go to my own concept, which is the 10 P's, in fact, I have done a lot of training programs on clarity, over probably 12 on clarity as a topic, right? And I've done hundreds of one-on-one sessions, hundreds of them. So much that I had to build an app. I had to build an application so that when people come to me, I can send them the application to go and do the clarity conversation and gain clarity from the app, because it's not easy. Having to go through hundreds of people, hundreds, you're talking, trying to figure out all of that stuff. So before I get into the 10 P's formula for finding clarity and purpose, and remember, I'll get into that. Now, this is a board, right? And what I want to show you here is a pathway for identity, an identity pathway. Okay, I don't know if I can. Should I wipe this? Is it of any use? I think I can wipe this once now. Maybe I should wipe, or I can use this. So this is a pathway for your identity. Many people usually ask me, Coach CJ, if I'm starting, how do I identify myself? People are calling me coach. I don't want to answer coach. I don't want people to call me coach. How do I identify myself? I want to feel comfortable and all of that. I'm like, okay, there's a way to start. Even if you don't feel confident, of course you should, but in order to make a fine meeting between ethics and professionalism, between ethics, right, and what else? Logic. Yeah, ethics and logic. There should be a fine meeting point. You cannot mislead people with title. There's some people that just wake up today, and because they've learned public speaking from one public speaking class, they launch their own class the next day, and they start writing public speaking coach. You take a course, a 1-hour course on sales, the fundamentals of sales, and then you jump out and start answering sales coach. That title can put you in trouble. I did life coaching programs some time ago. I did sales programs, a lot of sales courses, and I refuse to identify as sales coach. I did business and entrepreneurship life coaching programs, and when people saw the certificates, they thought it was a business coaching program. They're different. It's a business life coaching program, not business coaching program. So entrepreneurship life coaching program is simply positioning to be able to help entrepreneurs solve complex problems that interfere with their entrepreneurial ventures. Things like overthinking, things like self-confidence, things like communication, some of those basic things. So as an entrepreneurship life coach, I have no business with your taxes. I may not know anything about taxes. I may not even care to know about your tax filing and everything. Not my business. Go and meet your business coach, meet your accountant, not me. So, that's it. That's it, right? I did not identify as business coach. So some people were inviting me to come and speak at your events, and they'll be like, "Oh, Coach CJ, send your picture and the image and everything for the flyer, and then I send my picture, and then I send my name, how I want it to be on the flyer, and then they go and do the flyer and they add business coach. And I reach out to them and tell them, no, this is not what I said. Chijoke Otiba is fine, certified life coach is fine, right? But the business coach, I don't appreciate it, right? I'm not a business coach. Please remove it so you don't put me in trouble. Because when people see those things, they raise their expectations very high. And then when they consult you to do certain things for them and you don't deliver to that expectation, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a huge mess, a pandemic. So, this, right? This is a path I drafted for myself and I, share it with people. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but you can start out as an enthusiast. You can start out as an enthusiast. Okay. So now you can start out as an enthusiast and then you become an advocate, right? And then you become an activist, a coach, mentor, expert. This is how you can address yourself. Okay. So you can break into any market without feeling like a fraud when you use the word enthusiast. When I started breaking into artificial intelligence, I used the word artificial intelligence enthusiast. That was what I used. A lot of you who follow me, you must have seen it. I didn't start out with tech, mainstream tech, right? I've been doing coaching, healthcare, all of those things, and all of a sudden, people saw me posting AI. AI is here to stay. AI is the future. Artificial intelligence is that. Artificial intelligence is this. Come on. You may feel some kind of way, like my audience is already used to seeing me manifest anything. If I decide to start cooking tomorrow, they are not going to be surprised at all. They'll be waiting to taste what Chijioke Otiba has to cook. They'll be waiting to taste the beans or the fufu and egusi soup I'm preparing. They'll be so glad to have a taste of it because I've already groomed and trained my audience to see me in that light. But when I start into any market, how I emerge is as an enthusiast. Enthusiast shows that you have very strong interest and passion about something. You may not be an expert yet. You may not even know anything about it yet, but then you're willing to tell people, other people, that look, this thing is nice. And then you move from enthusiast to advocate. So I started with personal development enthusiast, and then I moved into personal development advocate. Then I went into people started calling me their coach. I didn't pick up the title coach by myself. I validated it first, and I knew it was worth the tag. I was worth the tag. So people started calling me coach, coach, this, coach. When is the class starting? My coach, my coach. Oh, coach, thank you so much. That class was meaningful. That class helped me a lot, right? And I moved from advocate, from telling people, oh, personal development is a must. That's what advocates do. You are speaking for personal development, and then you're bringing people into the fold. Come and try this out. Come and do personal development. It's nice, amazing, and right. And then from there, I move into coach, personal development coach, right? I've started helping people directly move from a point to another point. I've seen it as an evidence that whenever I do this, it works. I moved it to coach. And from coach, I went to something higher. I became a life coach. Life coaching is very similar to mentoring. They are basically one and the same thing. It's just structure that differs. So I started doing life coaching and mentoring together. It's a more extended form of coaching relationship. Mentoring is more informal, right? There can be a lot of informality with mentoring. So it's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to give you a roadmap for yourself. You can figure out how to break into any market at all in the world. I can get into electronics tomorrow. Don't be surprised. I can get into anything. I can get into relationship coaching, right? I can get into anything. Now, that is it. That is it. And then you move from that. I moved from that to mentor and all of that. I can call myself an expert at many different things. An expert in personal development, an expert public speaking, writing, whatever. And I have my works to prove it. I have awards to prove it. I have, a lot of results to prove whatever I say. So you must have your results to validate your experiences. If not, start from, start in a manner that allows you to open the gate for yourself. Now, that said, the concept Ikigai already explained. Now let's talk about the 10 P's. The 10 P's of productivity, 10 P's of purpose, 10 P's for clarity, 10 P's for anything. You can call it anything basically. Hmm? And these people are embarrassing me. These people are embarrassing me. Let me turn on my lights. My own electrical whatever. So now, like I was saying, the 10 P's. I would even want us to take a short break. Let's take a short break. Let's take a short break. You can still be here. I look forward to seeing your comments. I would like to see the comments. Let me. Ah, I look forward to seeing the comments. I heard a very loud sound now. Let me. Let me. I hope. I hope. Okay. I really. This period, you don't even know which one is. You don't know which one is fireworks any longer. So, like I was saying, um, I'd want to see your comments. Yeah, please. I would like to see your comments. At this point, where are you watching from? Tell me where you're watching from. Let's say hi to you. Let's say hi to you. Maybe send some greetings to your country, or send greetings to mine. So, like I was saying, I hope you're getting clarity. I hope you're getting clarity so far, and our gathering is not in vain. So, like I was saying, the 10 P is what they will help you to do is to synergize. Okay, one of the things you want to do for yourself is to create a list of options, right? Create a list of options. Um, Write down all the things that you know how to do. Okay, this can be where it begins for you. This can be where it all starts. Write down all of the things that you know how to do. All. Don't spare anything. Don't spare anyone. Right? Then take a long look at that list. All the things you can do, all the things you are interested in, all the things you would like to explore, right? Then take a long look at it and extract, eliminate. There are some you will just have bad gut feelings about. You just feel, nah, I don't want this one. I don't want this one. You eliminate. When you are done eliminating, then you want to now start picking. Remember to eliminate first, right? So you write a long list of stuff. Public speaking, I know how to cook, I'm interested in this, fighting, dragging people on social media, I'm really good at that. You just keep writing all of those things. By the time you are done, you now decide, okay, at this time, what do I remove? Remove the ones you can remove, then you will now start picking back again. You will now start picking out of what is left, out of the options left. What can I choose? Right? So let's say you are able to write like 20 things on your book. You're able to write 20. And out of the 20, you eliminate 10 by gut feelings. You just look at someone, you're like, Kai, this one is actually too much. I didn't even know that I was this extra. Right? And then you're able to remove 10, or you're able to remove 5. And out of the 15 remaining, you now choose again. And out of what you choose, maybe you have chosen 8. Maybe you chose 8, a number, right? Now, that 8 that you have chosen is what will take us to the next step. All of these P's. You can use a very simple framework. If you want to figure things out now. You can use passion, competency, and market, especially if you're into business and you're looking to earn profit. You should be thinking passion, competency, and market, which is also included in my 10 P's formula or framework. Okay. Now, now, like I was saying, when you have extracted, when you have extracted all of that, you want to now um, write what you have down, and then you can start converging further, right? By taking an assessment of all of these things when you understand them. Okay. And there are things that you have to consider when it comes to gaining clarity. There are so many things you have to consider when it comes to gaining clarity. You need to be thinking in line with the 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 vehicle. Okay. You need to be thinking in line with vehicle, skill, identity. Okay. These are things that you'll be looking at. Vehicle, skill, identity. What do I need to do? Right? Who am I at my core? Who am I at my core? Then what do I need to do? Who am I serving? Who are the people that need, right? How do I serve them? What kind of thing do I need to use to reach them? So that's like the vehicle, the channel. Do I need a channel, maybe an ebook? Do I need what's it called? Do I need an online course? How do I reach them? Okay. So these are the things that you want to look at. These are the things you want to use to decide. What's my identity? How do I identify? Do I identify as a holistic life coach, a public speaker, mom's wellness expert, tech physio, whatever? You can give yourself an identity that comes with a core message. It can be a one-liner, it can be a word. It can be growth. It can be, speed or whatever, or tech. The techie physiotherapist, the techie doctor, the techie nurse, or whatever. The next you want to consider is expression. What means of expression will I use? Is it my voice? Is it writing or acting? What vehicle? What channel? That's the next one. Channels for delivering value. I already talked about these channels. Blogs, books, courses, all of that. Who is my target audience and how do I reach them? You also want to think about monetization models. How will I make money sustainably from this thing? What is my sales strategy? What is my pricing model? What are my revenue streams for whatever thing I want to go into? You want to think about the topics you want to be talking about, or the topics you want to be known for, or the topics you want to, you want to build your brand around. What can you deliver now? One of the questions you should be asking yourself, what can I deliver right now? What will I like to master and deliver later? Even if it's not now, what can I deliver later? What can I master and deliver later? Packaging. How do I package and host my products, programs, offers? Packaging. So, like I was saying, what else? What else? So that's what we've done, that's what we've started in doing so far, right? And the next thing you want to do is to start looking at the P's. Start looking at the P's. I really hope, I hope you're following. I hope you're following. I want to be sure that people are following, because, like I said, this it took me a while to convince myself to do this. Please hope you are following. Let me hear from you. Let me hear from you. I'm seeing HVACAA. I don't know who that is. Can you do me a favor of introducing yourself if you don't mind? And Lydia, I can see Lydia Tony Young. Welcome and thank you for joining in. Happy to have you here. Rukia Dauda, thank you for joining. I'm happy to have you. And who else do we have here? Promise. Good to have you here, Promise. Good to have you here. Right, good to have you here. And who else? That is, yeah, that's all. That's the people who have been engaging. I think I'm not seeing some of the comments, and I'll see them later. I'll see some of the comments later. Okay. Because of the tool I'm using to stream. So if I did not mention your name, don't be angry with me. So like I was saying, the 10 P's, right? What are those 10 P's? What are those 10 P's? Number one is passion. Now, don't worry, because at the end of the day, you're going to, I'll gift every active participant a link to the app, right? So that you can do this test as early as you can. It's going to freak you out how much clarity you can get from that. Like how well it's going to help you to even draft a strategy plan. Okay. So yeah, people, platforms, and products. So this is it. These are the P's. Let me write this. Okay, my camera is off. Let me put this back. So yes, I'm here with you. I'm just trying to set my camera back, my device back. So, like I was saying, the 10 P's, I'm going to put it in no particular order. Starting from purpose, or let me start with personality, right? That's the first P. Ouch. That's the first P. Okay. And what is this personality thing about? Personality is simply about how your being accepts the industry or accepts whatever it is you want to do. how your being accepts it, so that you don't end up being a round peg in a square hole. Okay? There are many people now who work in banks, not because they want to work in banks, but because they graduated and there's no work available. There's no job. So they jumped into banking, right? There are many people who currently do stuff that they don't enjoy because it's not their thing. If you want to get into anything and then your body, your whole system just repels it, and you are having this vibe, it's not my thing, then it's probably not your thing. You need to reconsider. Okay? So these are the things that you need to do as a checklist. And at the end of the day, you every skill, every industry, every career path, every interest that you bring, you line it up against these 10 and ask yourself to rank each of them. Don't worry, there's already a system in place. I built an app for you to make it easier. So you can get access to the app. You can get easy access to the app. I'm going to share it with us. So, like I was saying, number one is personality. So you know whether you're an expressive person, are you the kind of person that can work in a bank and sit behind a desk, sit behind a computer, typing a whole bunch of stuff, calculating monies and interacting less with customers? Or are you the kind of person who would want to be, maybe a customer relationship expert, or, operations manager? You want to be interacting more with people, you want to make systems better, maybe a human resource person, whatever, right? So I already know myself. I can't work in a bank and just sit. If I should, just be ready to be meeting clients and then they line up and gather or sit and I have to give them a lecture on financial management once in a while. Okay, let me turn on my camera. I didn't even know it was still off. I didn't, Yeah. So that's it. That's it. Okay. So now that is personality, understanding what suits you, right? Is this my thing? Is this really my thing? Is this the kind of thing I want to do in my life, right? Then there's passion. Anyone I go through, I would tick it so that we know that we've done this. Okay, so if you're an expressive person, you may want to get towards things like public speaking, right? A non-expressive person may want to go towards tech, go towards data analysis, go towards cybersecurity, because it involves interaction of human beings with machines more. So it helps you to also understand your strength. Now, passion. What do you enjoy doing, or what do you do because there's a strong sense of emotional attachment to it? A lot of times we think that passion is actually, about the things that you love, what you love. We attach passion to positive emotion a lot. But sometimes it's not positive emotion. It can be as a result of, this takes me to the next one now. Let me merge the two of them. No, I'll talk about this later, especially, right? But passion can be as a result of pain. You can develop a passion for something because it brought you pain. For example, some people who passionately push the feminism movement, they do it because there's pain deep down somewhere, there's hurt somewhere. And I'm not saying it's bad or good, but there's hurt somewhere that is propelling all the things that they do. So even if they are sleeping and you wake them up, they're going to say all the things that they want to say, you know. So that's passion for you. So it could be pride, it could be envy, it could be bitterness, it could be revenge, it could be anything. Powering passion. But there is a strong sense of emotional attachment to the activity. So you are thinking, what fall into my passion frame? Of all the things that I'm interested in, which ones am I really passionate about? Are you asking that question? Now, the next one that you have to be thinking about is profession. What do you do well that you have been trained for? What do you do that you have been trained for, that you have gone through professional training for? You have either a degree or an extended training program, a certification, a license, and you can offer this and charge for it. That's profession. You can offer something and get paid for it. That's profession. And somebody will not stone you or say, give me back my money. That's profession. Okay. The next one is proficiency. It's a next level conversation. Proficiency. So you want to be asking yourself, what are the things that I'm proficient with? What are the things that people commend me for? People are telling you, oh, this is lovely. I love your voice. I love the way you speak. And a lot of us, when we hear things like that, we tend to dismiss it. We tend to feign humility. Oftentimes it's false humility, which is equally worse than pride. Okay, somebody tells you, oh, I love your voice. Instead of you to say, that's, I mean, thank you very much, I appreciate that, and then you go home and build and ask, what can I do with my voice? How can I earn money with my voice? People love my voice. How can I turn it to profit? You're not asking the question, but then you're expecting people to say, oh, I love your voice. How can I turn it to profit? So somebody called me, and that was what interrupted my call, my whatever. So please bear with me. If he calls again, I might have to pick. I might have to. So, like I was saying, that's what you're looking at, right? You're looking at proficiency. When people tell you that you are good at something, don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. Look into it. And then when you are thinking about all the things that you can do, sit down and ask yourself, what do people commend me for? What do people always tell me that they like about me? What's that thing they compliment me for? Your dressing can be a pointer to clarity. Your speech can be a pointer to clarity. Your intelligence, your smartness, your whatever you are proficient at can be a pointer to clarity and purpose and destiny. People say, oh, you have your way with words. Oh, you have your way with words. People always tell you, you have sweet mouth. In our country, people will say you have sweet mouth. They're trying to tell you that you are persuasive or cunning, but then you have to be able to harness it in a good way and turn it to persuasion. It means you can tell people the benefits of what they are buying. You can tell people the risks of what they are buying. You can tell people every information they need to know. You have product knowledge, you have prospect knowledge. You can put them together and you become a good salesman. You see, that's already clarity. Because people are telling you, oh, you have sweet mouth. There are people I've met, and they're trying to convince me to come to their church. I'm using church as an example. They're trying to convince me to come to their church. And by the way they sell everything, by the way they tell me, oh, this is what's going on, oh, we preach soul searching sermons and we do this and do that, you're going to like it. I know you don't like shallow things. Don't worry, you would like to meet my pastor. He's very deep in the word, that kind of thing. He's very, very, very deep in the word and all of that. I know that's the kind of thing you would want. You don't want shallow. And I'm like, for this person to be able to know this about me, it means they've taken time to study me, right? And not just that, they have the kind of thing that I would want to see, the kind of thing I would need, and they are bringing it to me. This is sales, but in another dimension. And I tell them, oh, do you do sales? Have you ever considered sales and marketing? And they're like, no, no, I don't think I can do sales. I don't think sales is for me. I'm not, all this entrepreneurship something. I'm not interested. It's not my thing. I'm always afraid. I'm like, no, you are already doing sales. This you're doing right here is sales. And you're doing it excellently well. Consider a career in sales. And more often than not, when they do, they succeed. Now, we've talked about which one? Proficiency. What are you good at? Right? Does it fit what you are good at? Is it what you are really excellent at? Right? And then let's look at profit. Passion without profit can be poisonous sometimes. When you have passion in a way that excludes profit, if this is a unit, right, and you are running in passion alone and it's not connecting with profit, and this is the one you are favoring, this eventually turns into poison. Passion without profit can be poisonous sometimes, can be really dangerous. You are doing your public speaking and teaching, and you don't have food to eat. You are doing public speaking. You just fall one day, maybe doing this kind of call, and people will just hear boom on the floor, and they'll start calling ambulance. By the time they get to your house, they realize that it's hypoglycemia. And why the hypoglycemia? Because you don't have food to eat. That'll be shameful. you know say, oh, I'm passionate. No, I'm my kind of person. We do things for passion. We don't do things for profit. All of that. Come on, you come off it. You have to figure out what the money equation is. Where's the money at? Whatever you want to do, you have to ask yourself, how is this going to bring me profit? How am I going to be able to monetize this? What's the monetization pathway for it? Right? So when you're doing things, you may be able to rank depending on where you are. You may be at a tight corner in your life, and you know that profit is important, very, very important for you at that time. It's not a time for you to start considering so much of passion and purpose, right? You may just want to use one: profit, proficiency, and let's say preparedness. I'll talk about this later. Or profit, proficiency, and products or people. You may merge this together to figure out what you want to do immediately, because what you need is money. So you can't be in need of money. You can't be in so much need of money. And you are telling somebody, I don't know what to do. I want to make money. And they're telling you, oh, what is your passion? You have no freaking business with passion. If what you need ultimately, immediately, urgently is money, you may not have any business with passion. If it is packing sand that will give you the money that you are looking for, go and pack the sand, my friend. Sometimes I tell people, get into the knowledge space. The knowledge economy is booming. Get into the knowledge space. Share your knowledge. You already have a lot of knowledge, a lot of ideas to share, and all of that. And people can pay you for it. And they're like, no, it's not my thing. I'm not passionate about teaching. Who cares if you're passionate about teaching? Who really cares? If you can deliver the results that I need, if you can teach me what I need to know, and you know it already, you have it already. You're a medical professional, you can open a group, a platform. People pay 1,000 naira to join, 2,000 naira to join, and you just come there and simplify ideas. You may even get it from ChatGPT. Nobody bloody cares as long as it's coming from you, and they can trust the information because they trust you. And you put it there, and they are benefiting and they are happy. Ask Dr. Charles. Is there anybody's name Charles? Let me just use another name. Ask Dr. Adegoke, something like that. And registration fee, 1,000 naira. Once we get to 100 people, registration fee will change to 2,000 naira. Once we get to 150 people, registration fee will change to 5,000 naira. That kind of thing. So people will be registering to join your Ask Dr. What and What. Now, when they ask you in the group, you can now pick the question, go and answer it constructively, edit it, use AI, do anything, record a video and send. And put that thing on your YouTube, put it on your Facebook, put it everywhere. And then, you're answering their question and you are getting ideas for your content. Win-win, and you are being paid for it. You are able to get value yourself. You are able to fulfill the purpose thing. You are able to get profit for yourself. Makes a lot of sense. So now, yeah. Let me see. The next one is purpose. I'd like to talk about purpose and pain together. So let me leave it. Purpose and pain. I'd like to talk about them together. So we've talked about this. So the next one is personality. I've talked about personality. Preparedness. How prepared are you for what you are trying to get into? How prepared are you? So it's not just about, oh, I want to be a life coach. It's not just about, I want to be a public speaker. I want to be a trainer. If you're getting into the knowledge space, you should be doing something that brings knowledge to you. Your cup should be full before you can fill others. Can't say I want to get into real estate. I want to get into cryptocurrency. I want to go into stock market and all. If you know that you are not really prepared for that thing, you are wasting your time. Oh, I want to become great. I want to become this. I mean, I need mentorship, right? Go and check your transfer history, your money history on your bank, your transaction history. Find out all the things, the last 20 transactions you made, or the last 40 or 50 transactions you made, how much of it went into any of the things that you listed that you want to do. That's how you know how serious you are, how prepared you are. If you find out that there's a particular thing your heart goes for, there's a scripture. If you're not a person of faith here, please try to understand me, okay? Try to flow with me. This scripture is a perfect illustration of what I want to say next. And the scripture is, where a man's treasure is, there his heart will be also. Wherever your treasure is, that's where your heart will be. Interestingly, if we can use some reverse dynamics and trace this, we can say that where I have paid so much money, or where I put most of my money, that's where my heart is crying out for. So if you have put so much more money in Netflix than you have put in personal development, maybe you are preparing to become an actor or an actress, not a medical professional, not a life coach, not a public speaker, not a writer. Because you cannot desire to be a writer and not even $2, not even $3, not even 1,000 or 8,000 or 5,000 naira has gone into preparing to become a writer. You've not hired a coach, gotten a mentor, whatever. But then you have money to buy human hair, buy whatever, buy Rolex watch, buy all sorts of buyables, right? But the money is not going into personal development, it's not going into that thing. Then you may not really be serious about it yet. You have to ask yourself, you want to learn about investing, how much money have you put into learning how to invest? So you tell yourself the truth. What are you prepared for? What are you preparing for? What's your preparation radar? What is that radar saying? It can give you expo. It can give you, secrets as to where your heart is going, as to how to find clarity. So that is what preparedness is about. What are you ready for at the moment? Maybe at this time, you're not really ready for the commitment that comes with a particular field and you want to avoid it, and that is fine. That's totally fine. Okay. Now, let me talk about all of these three. These ones usually follow profit, right? People, product, platform. What products can you offer? What product do you want to offer? Are there offerable products in that area? So public speaking, for example, I can write a book on public speaking. I can speak about public speaking. I can speak on any topic and record it and keep it as a product, right? I can have a guide on how to speak. I can sell products that public speakers use, like this microphone that I have here, right? This microphone. I can sell products like this. I can sell things that, any public ring light and all of that. These are products surrounding a particular industry. So you have to sit down and ask yourself, what are all the possible products that I can sell here? And then people, who needs me? Who needs me? So products can be digital or physical, of course. People, who needs me? Where can I find them? That's the platforms. Okay. So who needs me and what I'm offering? How badly do they need it? What is their archetype? What is their description? And what is their customer avatar? There's also something else that we call it beyond avatar. I don't remember. I don't remember what we call it again. But what is their customer avatar? right? Define the audience and see, okay, this thing that I want to do, are there people who need it? So it's not just that I'll just start something and I'll start running. No, are there people who need the service, who need the product, who need the offer, who need the system I'm building? You want to start health consulting, are there people who need it? And one secret that you can get here is when you don't have the market already, when you don't have the people already, you can decide to create the demand, to create this. How? You can take up one or two or three things from here, and then you go out and carry out an outreach. You go and do a free training online, teaching people about something in there that you don't already have the market. You start teaching randomly. By the time you get like 4 5 people, 6 7 10 will be easy, 15 20 will be easy, 30. Now you start, prime them and ask them, if you've gotten value, I need feedback. Once people start seeing that, okay, this thing is working, they will start listening bit by bit, bit by bit, until you buy their trust and they will join. Now you have 40. Now 40 people getting value, now 50, now 100 and 200. You keep going and you are understanding them. You are asking a lot of questions. You can go to the audience that you have right now and go and ask them, what will you like to learn from me? What would you like me to offer in my business? Get your customer feedback in the business that you are doing. You want to transition, or you want to add something to the business that you're already doing. Get feedback from your already existing clientele. Ask them, what is it that you want me to add to this business? What is it that you want me to add to this product? What changes will you like me to make? If there's any new thing you want me to offer, what could that be? Yeah, what could it be? So that is products, people and platforms, right? You are deciding. You are deciding what platforms. Where are they? Are these people in NYSC camp? Are they in your church? Your church is a platform. Are they in school? That place you are right now is a platform for you to meet the people who need what you're offering. Are they on Facebook? If they are on Facebook, where can I find them? Are they on Instagram? What's their description? How can I find them? How can I create a community for them? So now you are moving them out of a platform where they exist. That should be your ultimate goal for platforms. One of the things you want to start doing is to move them from a primary platform where they exist, right? From a region of, this is your own space that you created. Now this is them, right? This is your audience scattered everywhere, right? They are scattered everywhere. They are scattered everywhere. But you want to carry yourself and whatever your own community, whatever you are doing, carry yourself and get closer to a place where they are focused, a place where they are plenty, right? So that what can happen? So that as you give value here, there's a region, there's a barrier. As you give value here, they can notice you, and this noticing you, they can trust you enough so that you can break this barrier very well. And then you introduce them to your own audience, right? So they are moving from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. And that is basically value osmosis and diffusion happening, right? Now, having talked about all of this, now purpose is also one thing that we need to consider. Purpose, 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 purpose. So hmm, purpose. Okay. So There's a lot going on in my head. There's a whole lot going on in my head. But purpose is simply usefulness. Purpose is not mystical. Purpose is not scary. It's not mysterious. Some people have taught this purpose thing and it makes people resent it the more. I used to attend a lot of find your purpose classes. Discover your purpose back then in school. And these ministers, people organize programs, come to bring them to school, and they're like, discover your purpose. That what is that one thing that God has sent you to do? You may need to discover it through intensive prayer and fasting. You need to go and go to the mountain and sleep for days, or read the Bible cover to cover and pray hard for 5 months before God will reveal what your purpose is in life, right? And it made it more scary for me. Thank you, Gobi Daniel. Gobi is one of the reasons, what am I saying? Is the major reason I decided to add this part. Like I insisted on adding this part today. Um is the major reason. I would have probably skipped it and probably put it somewhere, I don't know. But when I saw how many people needed clarity, a lot of people reached out to me and I just couldn't help it. I had to do this session today. Thank you very much, Kobe Daniel, for all you do. Thank you very much. So like I was saying, I was attending those classes and they were becoming scarier by the day, right? They were saying all sorts of scary things. And the more you attend, the more you get confused. So I stopped attending. I stopped going for Find Your Purpose classes. Since they decided to mystify it, mystify everything, I stopped. And thankfully, I understood what the concept of purpose is, and the fear dropped. And I realized that we're already sent into a life of purpose. God did not create anybody purposeless. God didn't create anybody to just come and be roaming about on the earth, on the streets of the earth, without purpose, without meaning. Purpose is the meaning of life, is the essence of life, is the reason for living. That's the word, purpose. So like, what's the purpose of this bucket here? What's the purpose of writing this? What's the purpose of sending me a mail? It's just like, what's the usefulness? What's the importance? So that's your importance. So if you go to the market and buy a bucket, that bucket, if I should ask you what a bucket is for, you're going to tell me, oh, it's for water, right? But what if I bought the bucket to what if I bought the bucket to what is it called? To give me a storage. I mean, to store something. What if I bought the bucket to use it as a waste bin? What if I bought the bucket to store stones, to carry stones and keep stones? What if I bought the bucket to plant something, to use it as a flower vase, or to use it as, to plant a herb or whatever, right? A plant in my house. You will not say, you don't have the right to look at the flower vase, the bucket vase, and say, this bucket is not fulfilling the purpose of which it was made. No. The purpose depends on the utility. It means that for me as an individual, my purpose to you may not be the same as my purpose to another person. This is where many people get it wrong. They think purpose has to be one thing, right? My purpose to a group of young people that I met during my NYC camp may not be the same, doesn't have to be the same with what I am doing for a group of women. But here's the thing, we can have purpose and we can have core. And this is where they fail. They fail by trying to replace core identity with purpose. For every human being, you have to strive to know what is at your core. For me, what is at my core is growth, right? Growth, optimization, helping people and systems become better. I can't trade that for anything. And it's not like it's super specific. It simply means that anywhere I get into, anywhere I step my feet, things must work. That is me, right? But is that my purpose? No. No. Till you leave this earth, you will keep journeying the journey of purpose. You're not trying to find what is not hidden. You are a living sepulcher of purpose. You are a living expression of what purpose is. You are not searching for it. When you understand some of these things, right, and you are able to put some of these things into play, bearing in mind that there is an audience you need to serve. They are busy. When we talk about purpose, there are basically two reasons, two dimensions of purpose. Basically two. Hmm? Basically two. It's time to wipe. Basically two. Number one, this is two. This is glory or worship, right? Worship to God and service to humanity, right? So you fulfilling purpose is the degree to which you can take any of these, any of your skills, interests, abilities, gifts, callings, passions, any of this, to fulfill these two, right? And even people who don't, you know, do one of this, even people who don't identify as people of faith, right? There's still an element of divinity that exists in everybody. Something that wants to identify with something that is good, something that wants to help a dying person, something that wants to, put money, donate money to charity and all of that. Yeah. So looking at this is your primary purpose. This is the primary reason for which you were created. And then this is where we look at secondary. What problem are you here to solve? What problem are you solving? When you close your eyes, when you think about the problems that exist in this world, there are problems that usually call your name. They have your name written on them. And you know the funny thing, sometimes you don't feel prepared enough for them. So you end up thinking that it's really not for you. Sometimes you look at that issue and you're like, to solve this thing is going to cost a lot. And I don't have that means. I don't have the money. I don't have the means. So what happens? You close your eyes and it flies past. Those ideas that have been coming to you for years. These children on the streets, they need to be put out of the streets. These young ladies who are prostituting their bodies, we can have a shelter, a home for them. I can teach them skills, things that they can learn and they can manifest greatness from within. I can teach them to become, skilled professionals, and they don't have to be on the street selling their bodies for money. Now, the idea comes sorry. So, like I was saying, the idea comes to you, and you are thinking. I hope you can still hear me. I hope this is still working. It better be. Can you still hear me? Can you hear me? I hope so. Once I get confirmation, we go on. So like I was saying, You think about all of those things and you're like, the money involved is going to be a lot, so you let it fly by. You want to own a school. You want to own a school that would empower people, that will not just bring them out and they are stranded, they are looking for a job. You want to build a university, you want to build a hospital, a clinic, or whatever. And you want to have different members of the team that are well trained and all of that. And you are thinking about all these. It troubles your heart. In the realm of your purpose, when you see things, people don't see things the way you see them. Even when they see what you see, they can't see it the same way. Someone who is interested in building, huh? Someone who is interested in building may see a house and look at that house and say, no, this house is not standing straight. This house, there's something off about the window. Haven't you seen such people? They come and they look at a house and they're like, no, 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 the window is like, I think we need to rearrange. Or people who are very keen on internal decoration, interior decor, and they come to your house and they're like, no, this shelf would have been better here. The television should have been at the back. I'm like, I don't see what you see, but it's because it's there's something deeper from within that they see. When I started seeing the problems in the education sector, it became an issue for a lot of people. People will think you are mad when you are seeing from purpose realm, when you are seeing from the lens of purpose. Because how would the bucket explain to another bucket that it was used to pack stones, that it is happy to be used to pack gravel? It may not make sense. So when I started seeing the problems in the Nigerian education system, and I was overwhelmed, I was exhausted, I was tired about the whole situation. I was tired about the whole situation. Right? And I decided to do something. I told myself, I'll build a school, I'll own a school. I want to own a school in future. I checked it, I thought about it in my head, like the millions of hundreds of millions of naira that probably be needed in building my own school, employing staff, everything. I had a model in my head for what I wanted to do in that school. But I told myself, I don't have the money to start that school. But what did I do? I started it as a WhatsApp group, Learn 247. This is the origin. I was sharing online courses for people to come and learn. I didn't know what the future held. It wasn't clear to me, but I started something, which eventually became Learner's Tribe. That's our Facebook community. And I started a WhatsApp Telegram channel, Chijoke Otiba Growth Academy. Now, see how everything I've shared enters here. I talked to myself, and I was like, am I going to make it Business and Career Academy or Chijoke Otiba Career and Entrepreneurship, Chijoke Otiba Personal Development Academy, whatever? I said no. I'll just use my name. Then Growth and Academy. Why? It opens up the space for me. And I can venture into anything that I want to venture into, no matter what it is. So Growth Academy, I can talk about business entrepreneurship, I can talk about investing, I can talk about marriage, as long as it's growth, my academy can talk about everything when the entire process of formalizing it is done. So I started this as a Telegram community, and next thing we got to 100, 200, 300, 400, 800, 1000, 2000, 3000. So cumulatively, I have communities of over probably 10,000 people, have a lot of communities, from international communities to, community of friends, to group chats, to physiotherapy professionals, to medical professionals. I have a lot of communities. Now, it's because I started. Because I saw something, I saw problems. Anywhere I see problem and I feel like solving the problem, I'll decide to start small, no matter how small. Stop letting those ideas perch on your head and fly away. Somebody needs you at your current level. Somebody needs you just the way you are. Somebody needs you right now. They're not waiting for you to get another certification. If you do not manifest, if you fail to arise, they are going to die. They are going to perish. If you are waiting to be perfect before you manifest, they are going to perish. They don't have all the time to wait for you. That's what purpose does. It makes you uncomfortable to realize these truths. When you realize them, it makes you uncomfortable. You can't sleep well at night. You can't just close your eyes and sleep. You can't live a normal life. Because you know that there are people on the receiving end. There are people waiting for you to manifest. They are weeping, they are crying. And if you don't, they are going to die. Not just die spiritually or psychologically. Some of them will die physical deaths. Because of that post that you are thinking is not perfect, you don't want to post, you don't want people to judge you. That post that you want to share about suicide, maybe you experience with depression somewhere, somehow, that post you wanted to share, but then you are looking to make it perfect, to edit it, to make it this, that. Somebody was meant to read that post and survive suicidal ideations. But because you did not post it, they died. This is not to make you feel guilty, but to make you become more aware and understand the urgency of purpose. Tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. You may not understand a lot of the things. No one is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. I'm dwelling on this for many reasons. No matter how little you think your contribution is, contribute anyways. You don't know how many lives you're saving just by being present, just by offering yourself, just by offering your skills, your services, even the ones that you sell. Yes, even through selling, you're helping a lot of people gain access to what you have. You using your abilities, your skills to solve the problems that exist in this world is you fulfilling purpose. Sometimes it's perfectionism that holds you back. That thing that you want to do, as in your heart, it's time to let it out. It's time to try it out. It's time to test it. Stop asking what if it doesn't work. Start asking what if it works. Be ready to embrace the calling of purpose. It calls you from the inside. It's not difficult to find. You see it, you know it, but you are afraid of it. You are afraid of embracing it. You are even afraid of becoming successful. You are afraid that you may do it and it will work. There's a fear inside that you may try it and it will work. And then you become committed. You are afraid of that commitment. Can I sustain it? Will I be able to do this? Those questions are not for you to answer now. Embrace the journey and you see how far it will take you. And then finally, pain. 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 So you have to be able to think how you can turn your pain to purpose, right? So now, all of these things I'm saying, all the skills, remember all the skills that you listed initially. Now you're analyzing them and you are saying, oh, this one, does it fall into my purpose? Does it fall into my passion? Which one, this one, does it fall into this? Does it fall into that? By the time you are done looking at understanding all of these, you will now come back to that list of 5 that were remaining, or list of 8 that was remaining. You look at them again and you automatically know that no, 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 no. You cancel out. You cancel out like three more or four more. What is left? Look at it again, and you will discover that this one stand out. This one stands out. This one stands out. So you can now decide. Maybe there are like five things remaining. You can now decide to merge those five things. So there's public speaking, and there's personal development. So you can merge public speaking and personal development together. Speaking about personal development, right? Coaching on personal development, writing on personal development. Okay? And maybe there's tailoring, sewing, there's music or whatever. And you find a creative way to synergize, to harmonize the things that you're offering, the things that you're interested in, the things that you're doing. Right? Now, pain. Pain is not entirely bad. Pain is a natural process. Pain saves you from trouble. It is a warning that there's something going wrong or something about to go wrong in your system or around you, or something that had gone wrong. That's pain, right? Pain is a warning sign. It's not bad. So you should be able to use your pain for good. You should be able to use your pain for good. Pain that is not useful to you harms you. Okay? You have to be able to make your pain to serve you. Pain should be viewed in another way, whatever the pain is. And sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, whoever is going through anything that is painful, maybe a heartbreak, maybe disappointment, maybe poverty of any kind, anything, I'm praying for you from the bottom of my heart that you experience bliss, that you become free, truly free, that you heal from whatever traumas or setbacks or pains, that you heal truly. I'm praying for you. That you heal. Because the rest of the world may not understand how difficult it is to heal from trauma, how difficult it is to heal from pain, especially people who are privileged to have never experienced something that they would call painful. So, pain, you have to concentrate on how you can turn your pain to purpose, how you can turn mess to a message that is valid for your world to hear. That is very important. Pain. Now, whatever it is that you've gone through that brought you pain, you can turn it into purpose. There are people who the reason they went into coaching of a particular kind is because of the individual experience they had. Some of the best marriage coaches that you would ever find are people who have had crises, serious crises in their marriages. Some of the best depression coaches that you will ever find are survivors of suicidal ideations and attempts. They've seen depression to the last of it, to the very last. They've touched depression. But if you have not gone through a certain path, when people bring their problems to you, all you have is advice. You may not really have compassion as much as you think. All you have is advice, and your advice is always perfect. It's always ideal. Oh, avoid this. Why not avoid this? Okay, do this. Okay, do that. But the one who has gone through pain understands the level of that pain, that sometimes all they do is come on and cry. Just come on, cry on my shoulder. Come on, cry. I hear you. I know what you feel because I've been there. That's the power of pain. That's the power in your pain. That's the power in your pain. Okay? So you have to start thinking about pain differently. I went for a session one time, I went for a program one time in Abuja, and the speakers, other speakers had come, spoken, and they left. They left the stage. And the atmosphere was becoming a bit noisy because the sessions were boring, very boring. And then came this woman, she climbed the stage and she said, I was raped 4 times. Oh my goodness. That was what she started her speech with. Never heard that in my life. And immediately, it was as if she commanded the next atmosphere. Everyone went silent, pin drop silent. The hall was quiet, solemn, quiet. And she started sharing her story. By the time she was done, she made all of us do a trauma assessment, gave us the sheets and everything. People were engaging happily, gladly. And at the end of the day, she sold her book, you know, about her recovery from trauma. And I said to myself, even though it may not look as if I need this book, because definitely I've not had the experience, but I want to know what gave this woman the effrontery to recover in this manner. How did she heal? How did she recover? I want to know. Maybe someone in future would need knowledge. Maybe. I want to know. And I bought the book and I kept it in my house. And I know a lot of other people bought the book as well. Why? She was able to connect us with her pain. Now there's wisdom in sharing pain, right? So that you don't share too early. But then there are lessons you can pick from your pain that no other person will even know where it came from. Some wealth coaches can only tell you about wealth because of theory, what they read in books, voice notes, and messages they listen to. But some wealth coaches have been through poverty. They know every nooks and crannies of it. They understand the limitations of mindset. They know they have been chased out of school. They know it by experience. So when they speak, you connect with them easily. You connect with them immediately because they've been there. They've been there, done that. They've been there and they've done that. So, what pain do you have? What pain have you experienced that can be a pointer to purpose and destiny? That can be a pointer to clarity? Someone broke your heart. You can start writing pieces, you can start writing articles or writing books without even mentioning your name. You had a child out of wedlock and you faced brutal rejection, criticism, judgment, segregation, isolation, all of that. Maybe you are even still dealing with the pain. But do you know that through that pain, you have unlocked a certain level of experience that nobody else has? And when you write, people can feel the passion in your writing without you even mentioning who you are citing, without you mentioning that it's your case. People can feel a certain energy. I did not know what people go through when they have academic challenges. I honestly didn't know until I failed the course in my final year in the university. I failed the course. I had an F. It was 23 over 100. For the first time in my life, I had an F in my result. For the first time, I used to cry for a C. I used to cry when I see a C. But when I had that F, my My life reset. I then realized that sometimes why people fail is not because they are not smart. Sometimes it's because the system fails them. It's because they were taught in a way that they don't understand. It's because they were taught by poor teachers, by bad teachers. It's because the way they love learning is not the way the the school system loves to teach. So because of that mismatch, it seems like they are the ones failing. I understood all that in one night. And I wrote an article that circulated in school. I think I titled it I Failed the Course in My Final Year. A long article. People were reading it and coming to meet me. CJ, thank you so much. One sent me a message and said, you just gave me life again. CJ, you don't know what you did. You just gave me life again. It was because of pain. I unlocked that through pain. So now when somebody comes to tell me, oh, I'm having academic challenges, I don't even tell them, oh, just be reading hard. Just no, I understand you. I know what it feels like to write a course and not pass and be anxious that you may not pass the next one, and your emotions are unstable, that there are other exams that you have to write and you're overwhelmed. I know what it feels. I was zoning out at some point because I was scared. What if I write it again and fail? What if I don't graduate with my set? I was scared. I was already embracing the worst case scenario. I was a class rep, but I was looking out for, so if I fail this course again, who will be the class rep? I was like, that's how scary it was, right? But I eventually passed it. But I understood. Pain unlocked it. And now I'm grateful for that experience. Because when I tell stories of my scars, I can have interesting stories to tell. Some people don't. Some people don't have any interesting story to tell. They were born into privilege. They live in privilege. They'll probably die in privilege. Some people have never trekked 30 minutes in their life. The only time they've done that is when they were working out in the name of exercise. Some of us have trekked hours. And it's not like it was a normal thing. So look at your pain and see. Look at what fits into your pain. It could be counseling, it could be coaching, it could be writing, it could be something about that pain. Some people would have to go and study psychology, will have to go and take up a training on psychological first aid, on emotional rehabilitation, on CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, on rational emotive behavioral therapy, some of these basic programs and courses, neuro linguistic programming, and whatever, so that you can be able to better position to serve the kind of audience that you want to serve. It means that some people may actually break into therapy without studying psychology. You can do advanced extended programs and venture into counseling, lay counseling, because you have a deep experience, and through your own healing you have learned a lot. Through receiving therapy you have learned a lot. You have compassion. So those who became stuff through academia without experience, without personal experience, usually don't understand so well. As a healthcare professional, I've only been able to understand the plight of my patients because I've also been a patient at some point and I saw the way the system treated me. Pain. That experience changed me forever. I now understand my patients more. I treat them with more dignity, more respect, more care, more attention, more, more everything. Not because I wasn't doing that before. I've always been a good professional. I've always been a good clinician. I can talk about that all day. However, when I had an experience myself, I started going the extra mile because people are suffering, moving from one professional to the other, one test to another, one this to another. I said, no, I can, what can I do extra to help? How can I assist? How can I help? Because I've been there. Because I know their struggle. I know their pain. To tell the patient, go and come back tomorrow because they came fraction of a minute late or they came 10 minutes late. I know the pain because I've also been there where I had to wait for hours for a doctor. I had to sit on a hard metal chair outside of the consulting office. I mean, sometimes, oh my goodness, I can't even talk about all of this. But pain will unlock a lot for you. Have you been poor? It means that you can fight to become rich so that you can teach people out of poverty. Are you battling a health crisis? You can build a community to gather people who are battling something similar, maybe chronic illnesses, so that maybe you can discover solutions, alternatives together. You can invite experts to come and teach you about the condition or whatever. So many people that you see online who are sickle cell sufferers, people living with sickle cell disease, some of them are doing advocacy. You can go to Instagram and check out the sickle warrior. Some of them are doing advocacy. It's not because they enjoy it. It's not necessarily the good kind of passion. It's not the sweet side of passion. It's the painful side of it. Passion that was birthed by pain. Oh, my parents fell in love without checking their genotype, and they had me and discovered I was a sickler. I mean, I'm saying what some of them say that make them, you know, put out um, such programs or whatever they do, the advocacy projects. They'll say something like, my parents were in love, and then eventually they got married and found out that this and that, and then, I'm now in this condition. That's what they say, right? And while they are in pain, so much pain, they are now telling the world, look, don't be like my parents. I have forgiven them, but forgiving them will not take this pain away. That kind of thing. And you see, they are passing a message. They are reaching millions of people. And at the same time, they are also consoling people who are in that situation, for them to see that it's not end of life. Sickle cell is not the end of life. That kind of thing. So no matter what, there's an opportunity for you to use your pain as a platform to inspire others. You see, pain now can function as a platform. You automatically become a consultant at certain issues when you have faced it and conquered, or even when you are facing it. If you have never experienced chronic pain, if you don't know chronic pain, if you have never experienced anything in your body that made you worry, that made you feel like you're going to die, that made you feel like you won't see the next day, and then it goes on and on and on and on and on, you will not understand what people go through. When people tell you they have health challenge, you will never get it. And I pray you don't even understand it. I don't get it. You shouldn't get to that level. You shouldn't experience such pain. It's not necessary. So, that said, when you have looked at all of this and you think and look at yourself, what are you now seeing? What skills are you seeing right now after all this conversation? There must be like three things that pop up in your head like magic all of a sudden. Oh, finally, even when you thought you had no skill, as I was speaking, some things were coming to your head. Finally, there are like three, four things that will jump up in your head right now. What are those things? Write them down. That's how you can start. That's how you can start. That's where you can start from. You can draft strategy. You can plan out your engagement strategy and all of that. Okay. So yeah, with that, I can say that we have come to a strategic end of this session. And I am glad that you all came along. Okay. But this is it. I'm going to send a link to my Clarity app. I'm also going to send a link for anybody who wants to come up stage. If you want to come up stage and share anything, I'll send a link. You can click on the link. Um, Taiwo said, "Good evening. I don't want to be missing these classes. Please, what time and day do you have this live sessions?" Okay. Taiwo, you can join the group chat on WhatsApp. Okay, join the WhatsApp group chat. Let me send it here. So that you don't miss any. Okay, join the WhatsApp group. So that you don't miss any session. Anytime we're going to have a class, I announce it at least 4 hours before the time. Oh, imagine. This is a lot. Okay. This is a lot. How do I even... Uh, oh, amazing. I got a dose of healing tonight. Awesome. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in. I am glad. I am glad. I am glad. Thank you for joining, Temidayo. I would appreciate your feedback. I would appreciate sharing. Um, let other people experience what you experienced. If you would want to come up stage, I shared the StreamYard. You see this link that says StreamYard. You can use it to come in. You can just click on the link and you can come up stage and share your experience in tonight's session. Otherwise, we'll call it a night at this point. Um, I'm really glad that I've been able to get this particular session out of my chest. I'm glad. I'm glad. So this is the app that I promised, you know. This is the app that I promised. I hope it's going to be able to send in one click. So this is the link to the app. You can use this app to gain clarity. You can use the app to, yeah, the app that says AI Studio slash apps. Yeah, just click on the link and you'll get access to it. Okay, give it permission to the drive, to your drive, and then you can use the app. So this app is going to help you fine tune every conversation we've had here today, right? List of skills, everything, narrow down, and then plan a framework, give you a plan of what to execute, right? And then if there's still need for us to talk, then it will also guide you. It will guide you on how to go about it. Okay. So um you all have an amazing night rest. Have an amazing night rest. I look forward to getting your feedback. Okay. I look forward to hearing from you. Good night, everyone. Good night. Yes, Temidayo, you can DM me. You can send me a message. You can send me a message. I would appreciate send me a message. Let me know how the session was for you, and I'll take it up from there. Okay. Do have an amazing night rest.